Hello and welcome everybody. My name is Kevin and I am the Director of Onboarding here at Pixelz. And today's episode, we have an in-depth tour of the Pixelz platform. And to give you a comprehensive tour while being able to cover all the details, we found out that it was going to be a lot easier to do a pre-recorded session because there is a lot to cover and I wanted to make sure that we hit everything in the allotted time. But I will be here live in the chat if any questions come up while the demo is being played, or clarify if you have any questions as well. On the top right-hand side, there is a specific section for the Q&A, and I'll do my best to answer everyone's questions that you ask there. Thank you for tuning in, and please enjoy the show. Hi everyone, welcome to the Pixelz demo. My name is Kevin Boutwell. I am the Director of Onboarding at Pixelz, and today I'm going to be walking you through how to place and review an image order on the Pixelz platform, as well as going over some of our advanced QC's tools. But before I jump into that, let me give you just a little bit of background about Pixelz. We got our start in Denmark 14 years ago with the goal of perfecting e-commerce images, and we've grown quite a lot since then, both in the solutions that we provide and as a team. Today, we're a globally diverse company. We have offices and colleagues all across the world. We are currently based out of Copenhagen, Denmark, and that's where I'm speaking to you from today. We also have a large retouching and post-production team because our production is all hybrid. What does that mean? That means that we split production into AI and traditional automation and specialist teams of editors. We call this production system SAW. SAW stands for Specialist Assisted Workflows, and it's exactly that. It's where we leverage our specialist editor teams alongside our proprietary trained AI and automation. The benefits of this approach are numerous. We can ensure quality, speed, and reliability, and since we have a global production team, it means there's built-in contingency planning due to location independence. Today in this demo, I'll be going through the workflow for standard PDP images, but we also handle post-production for editorial, video, elevated content, as well as 360-degree spins. Okay, welcome to the Pixelz platform. Our platform is where you can do almost anything to manage your post-production workflow. You can place orders, you can review your orders, you can leave markups, you can find insights and data around your production. And when you first log in, you're greeted with the dashboard right here, which is what I'm showing you on screen. And talking about data and insights, the first thing that we want to put up on the screen is what we call the Pixelz Pulse. This is all demo data in our Pixel Studios account. But here is where you can find things like productivity numbers. You can see the amount of images you've uploaded in the last 30 days. You can see trend lines for that, and you can see the all-time amount of images. We also pride ourselves on data transparency. And in here you can see things like quality, so first-time approval rate, the amount of times that you have approved images on the first go. You're able to see things like reliability, the amount that we are delivering your images on time, average lead time from when we receive images to when we return images, as well as things like time savings and productivity streaks. We put that right up on the front page, so it makes it really easier for studio administrators to be able to log into the Pixelz platform and get a pretty good pulse of where the partnership with Pixelz is at any given time. Also on the home screen, you're able to see things like an order feed, some of your most recent orders, as well as SLAs attached to your account, and any other interesting reports that we might have put out, like industry trend reports, any product updates, as well as webinars and case studies from some of our clients. We're going to walk through a few different pages on here. We're going to go through an order page. We're going to show you how to set up specifications live. We are also going to do a review of an order, show you how to QC, and then briefly I'm going to also touch on insights and data that is available to you on the Pixelz platform. Okay, now I'm going to walk through how we can create a specification directly on the Pixelz platform. So from the specifications tab, we have the option of creating a guided specification. We can use common marketplace specs like Amazon, eBay, Google Shopping if you want to sell your products directly on those marketplaces. We have all of the specs ready to go right here. We also have manual if you want to fine tune and create your own specifications from scratch. But for purposes of today, I want to walk you through the guided specification setup. I'm going to click continue here. And I'm going to select that we use apparel to photograph for the purposes of this. I'm going to say we shoot our apparel on models. You also have the option of choosing mannequins or flat images. We can define the aspect ratio or width and height in pixels. So I'm going to use 2000 by 3000, which is a 2 by 3 aspect ratio. And now we can choose what type of retouching we want to add to the specification. So I can choose from model retouch, I can choose what type of retouch for garment, and what type of retouch for the background. So for intents and purposes, I'm going to just choose basic, essential, and original. And we can compare options here, so you actually see what you're able to turn on with each individual option that you choose here. I'm just going to go with basic, and essential, and original. I'm going to click continue. I can choose what type of cropping I want. This is actually quite helpful for those of you that might shoot their models with unrecognizable images. So where you would need to crop this potentially below the eyes, for example, or below the nose for certain marketplaces where you're unable to have recognizable models. However, for this, I'm just going to go ahead and choose no crop. You also have those same options for full bodies, tops, and bottoms. But I'm going to select full body and no cropping. And here we have a choice to keep the original background, the background from the studio, and use that cleanup that we chose a few steps back. Or you actually have the option here of choosing a separate color for the background if you wanted to have a solid gray background where you can keep the original shadow from the set instead. And I'm going to go ahead and continue to keep the original background and use the cleanup that we chose earlier on. And then I have the option of doing color matching. Color matching would be taking a mannequin image that is photographed in the studio as well. And for those of you that know, those two studios are going to have the exact same color. You're going to probably be shooting with different cameras, different lighting scenarios, and often the color that you shot on your mannequin image is going to look different than the color that you shot when you put it on the model. And of course we have a solution for that in color matching, and it's something that you can turn on right here and add to all images. And in the case that you do want to do color matching, you just upload a reference image that is the correct color. We of course don't have the product with us when we're editing the images, so you have to upload a reference image that has the correct color, and then we will match the garment on model, in this case, to the reference color that you upload. I'm going to go ahead and hit no for this, and I'm going to hit confirm and create specification. And now I have the kind of a summary screen for my specification that I've created. I can rename it here. I can confirm some settings and change them. I have things like DPI and color profile, whether to keep any existing metadata, if the image needs to be rotated or straightened out at all, sizing. So it's all really quick and easy to edit in here. We defined some of this earlier, but you have it all right here. And we can confirm our retouching, and we can add any add-ons in here, like shadow, which we won't use because we're keeping the original background. Invisible mannequin, of course, it's a model image, so we wouldn't use that. You can also add things like a clipping path as well. And then I would hit save, and I'll be able to upload to that specification. Now, I just kind of want to give, let me turn my camera back on. Now, I just want to give a little bit of context as well about some of these retouching that we were able to select here. And you can see we have things like clean up spots and bruises and marks and wrinkles and eye bags and all of these things, but they are pretty fixed between each packages. These are some of the most common editing packages that our clients use. However, I do want to show you that we do have quite a bit of control over this on the back end. Reach out to your customer success manager and they can add a few more settings on the back end. And now I'm going to show you a little bit of what that looks like. Moving on, we can go to our order page. Our order page is where you can manage uploading new orders and QCing existing orders that are in production. Here you can see we have several different orders in here that we can look at and are currently in the status of ready for approval, meaning we can start to approve these. I have video orders in here. We have some studio shoot orders in here as well. I'm just going to show you first how you can create a new order. There's actually several ways to send an order to Pixelz. You can create a new order directly here from the orders page, where you're able to choose one of the specifications that you've created on the account and directly upload images into that to be processed. You can also use traditional upload methods like FTP. We have our own Pixelz API, which you can develop up against, as well as integrations with several different partners as well. Just for today in simplicity, I'm going to show you how to create a new order directly on the Pixelz platform. So we can hit Create New. I'm going to hit Direct Upload. And I'm going to choose one of the specifications that we have in the Pixelz platform. For simplicity, I'm going to say that I'm going to be uploading images to be fixed on the Amazon Marketplace. I'm going to click Select. And from this page, we have the option of clicking on this to select files directly on your computer, or you can drag and drop directly into this box, which I am going to do right now. It's uploading, and we have this lovely bag that we photographed in Pixel Studios. You can see that they're both complete, and I'm going to hit Continue. And this is one of our marketplace templates that we've selected. This will go ahead and prepare these images with the specs for the Amazon Marketplace, so we can go ahead and sell this bag on Amazon, where the image gets formatted exactly like Amazon requires in order to sell directly on their marketplace. At this point, I can choose to rename the order if needed, something to make it a little bit easier for me to find in the order view. So I'm going to do Amazon Marketplace Pixelz Demo, so I can find this later on. And once I've confirmed that these images are good to go, I can go ahead and place the order. And that order is going to go directly into production. You can see it's changed to ready for production right now, and it's shown up in our order view. Now let's go through the Pixelz order page and show a few other things that you can do here on the Pixelz order page. First, you can see that this order was ready for production, the one that we just submitted, and you can see we have several other different statuses in here. You can sort your orders by different statuses. So I can see orders that are ready for production, ones that are ready for download, partially ready, or ready for approval. Let's look at this order here, this model set that we photographed. And there's a few other things that we can see on here. I can see the order number, the amount of images in here, the deadline that it's due. We photographed this last month. And you can also see the amount of images that have been approved, the amount of images that have been rejected, and the amount of images that are currently waiting for approval. So let's take a deeper dive into this order. First thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to claim this order. By claiming this order, it says Pixel Studios is working on it, but you also do have a users module in here, which I don't know if I'll have time to get into today. But in short, the users module allows you to invite as many different users from your team as you'd like to be working within the Pixelz platform at once. And a user can claim an order so that another user on your team potentially doesn't QC an order while somebody else is working on it. But let's go ahead and view this order. And now we're in the order view page. And from here, I can see all of the 31 images in this order. And we can do several things on this page. We can change the thumbnail size. I can view them larger or smaller. Let's go back to medium. I like medium. We also have filter statuses as well. Currently, all of these images are waiting for approval. But if images were in different statuses, we could see that here. You're able to filter by that. So you're able to filter by approved images, rejected images, images that have been fixed after a rejection. You're able to see the images that are waiting for approval. You have the ability of putting some guides into the image. So if you had particular margins that you needed applied to above a model's head or below a model's feet, or maybe you want to check to see if all of your flat lay shirts are centered, we can actually add vertical guides, and you're able to quickly drag guides over the screen in order to be able to QC and check quite quickly. That's a vertical one. Of course, we have horizontal as well. So you would be able to check the margins on the top of the head, so we're all aligned on these images, and do some quick QC work of the entire set of images. And I'm going to just double click those to remove. And we have lots of shortcuts as well, and I'm going to get into that a little bit more when we're looking at an image full screen. And one final thing to note on here is these icons that you're seeing above every image. This icon is our icon for color matching. And that means that all of these images in this order have gone through our color matching step, which means we've taken a still life image of this, where on set we were able to look at the color from the camera and compare it on screen to the actual product, and make sure that what we're seeing on screen matches the original color of the product. And then we're able to upload that image as a reference file for these on-model images, which of course are shot in a different set, and then we'll do color match in post-production. But let's open up a few of these images here. I'm going to click on an image, it gets highlighted in orange, and I press spacebar on my keyboard, and that brings it up full screen. This full screen module here for QC, we call this close-up. And in close-up, you can manage all of the QC to check the quality of the retouching from Pixelz. So in here, there's quite a few different things that we can do. First thing, I have a little small view over here, so I don't have to go all the way back to the order view to see the other images in the order. We don't have to leave close-up to be able to select individual orders in here. I can also hold down the control button on my keyboard and be able to QC multiple images from an order directly at once if you're looking for consistency within a product set, which is of course very important. Looking at this image, I want to know where it came from and where it is now. So I want to see before and after. Again, I'm going to press some keyboard shortcuts. I'm just going to highlight up here at the top. We have tons of keyboard shortcuts here, and for power users like me, you guys will really enjoy using these keyboard shortcuts. It makes QC really quick. But I'm going to press W here on my keyboard, and that's going to bring the original up, and I'm going to press W again to bring the final up. And if I press them quickly, you can see a little bit of the shaping that we've done here on the pants. You can also see the color changing in the shirt that he's wearing. And of course, that's the color matching that we're talking about. You can also see up here, the final and original is what is being triggered here. I mentioned color matching earlier and how we can use a reference. You can see that this does have a color reference, and I'm going to press the C on my keyboard to trigger the color reference to show up. And here you can see the reference color that we use. It's a flat lay image like I mentioned, and you can check it against the final model image. You can do side by side, and of course you can do the overlay mode like I was showing before. And then let's say it's time to add a little bit of comments to an image. Let's say we want to find something that we didn't do correctly, or you'd like to give us a little bit of feedback regarding the images. And I'm going to see if I can go through a couple of these images here and find something that we want to. Great, how about this one here? I'm going to make this go full screen so that you don't have to see my face, and we can look a little bit closer into our markup interface within close-up. First, opening up the image here, you see that we have highlighted a few different options here on the left-hand side. What we've done is we've actually taken the most commonly used words for rejections over the past year and made quick shortcuts for each one of these. So things like removing something, smoothing, cleaning, straightening, reducing, shaping, or restoring something back to its original state. And in here, what I can do is I can click on any one of these, and if we wanted to, I'm going to use for for demonstrative purposes here, but we could remove, let's say we want to remove the zipper. I personally don't, but it's just an idea of how to use this tool. Maybe we wanted to straighten the line of the pants a little bit, or reduce some of the folds that we have here on the shirt. It makes it really quick and easy for you to choose an option here and then go ahead and highlight it in here. All of these are keyboard shortcuts as well, so you can see the little tool tips on here. So I can do 1, 2, 3, 4, and pick one right away. So again, for power users who love those shortcuts, this is also a quick, easy way to work. While you can do that with drawing, you also have the ability to do it with a line tool as well, to draw a straight line. That can be super helpful when you're talking about shaping or straightening something. You also can zoom in, zoom out, erase markups, pan. You can actually check color codes as well. This is helpful if you have a certain background color that you potentially need for your website. You are able to validate that quickly here within close-up as well. And you can also change the background color that you QC against. So if you do have a background color that you do have on your website, you can actually set that background color to QC to see how the image would look on your website as well. Just a couple tools that we have to make sure that QCing your images is as easy as possible within the Pixelz platform. I'll highlight just a few other things inside here. Before and after, you still have the ability to check that within here. So if you actually wanted to know, like we do have this restore option here. If you did want to know what this looked like before, that same W key that we pressed when looking in close-up, you can press it and hold it down in the rejection tool as well. And I can see the before and after. So if I wanted to bring these wrinkles here back for some reason, I now know where they were, and I can circle them and use the restore function as well. Now here's some functions down over here. We do have the ability to save this comment, so I can save everything that I've done and revisit it later, or I can go ahead and reject, and that's going to go straight into production, where a Pixelz team member is going to look at your rejection comments, classify them, and then send them into production to be amended. In this case, I want to show you how easy it is to save a comment, because if you're like me, you like to go through an order first and give it a cursory glance. Maybe you see something that potentially was done incorrectly, but you want to come back to it later to actually make that decision before you send it to production. So by saving that comment, I do have here, now I can see those same remove, straighten, reduce, and restore markups that I did before here on the image in close-up when I'm able to go through images. And I can also see here that I have 3 other images in this order. By clicking on the 3, I can see 3 different images in here that have comments. And from here, I can look at it and say, I can see my remove, my straighten. I can click on it to make it come to full screen. I can edit it, I can delete it, or I can choose to send it to production as well. And so you can get a good overview of everything within your order and then make some decisions from the perspective of, after seeing the entire order, of whether or not you want to amend any of these comments, the comments potentially aren't relevant anymore, or send them to production to be fixed. And in this case, I'm just going to leave them as they are. And now coming back here to the dashboard, we touched a little bit on the Pixelz Pulse and how we like to push data transparency forward, showing things like productivity, quality, and reliability numbers directly on the dashboard and the home screen as soon as you log on. But I want to dig a little bit more deeply into some of the other data and reporting tools that you have available to you on the Pixelz platform. So I'm going to start here in Insights. This is a way to dive just a little bit deeper into some of the data surrounding the images that you've uploaded over, in this case, the last 30 days. So you're able to see a distribution in templates or specifications. You can see the amount of images that you've uploaded in each. You're able to see the amount of images over time. So this would be the amount of images per day. Whether we're hitting the deadline per day. You can see quality metrics on a daily basis as well. The reliability of expedited images. The reliability of rejected images, because all of these are different SLAs that, of course, we have available to our clients, and you should of course be able to see the data that comes around monitoring those SLAs. And again, all of that can be found directly here on the Insights page. And for those of you that want to dig a little bit deeper and get a little bit more data, you have the option of pulling an image report. And I'm going to go ahead and click Image Report here. And then you have to choose a date range. I'm going to go ahead and come back here, and we're going to choose December 1st to the 31st and apply. And it's going to go into the back end of our SAW production system, and it's going to pull the data for every image that went through the system during the specified date range. And here we have all of the images, and I can export this as a CSV, and I'll be able to use this for any purpose that you might have. Maybe it's accounting, where they want to be able to see the images that have gone through particular clients or particular workflows. Potentially you would like to know the cost for vendor images versus images that you've shot in the studio. Maybe you're a commercial studio and you'd like to know what your cost per brand that you photograph for is. You'd be able to pull an image report for a time period, export a CSV, and be able to take that data and form it however you need in order to get the correct information that you might need. For those of you Excel nerds out there, I think you'll really appreciate spending some time here in Image Report. And that's it for the Pixelz platform demo for today. I'd like to thank you all for joining, and for any questions that you might have, you can find more information by visiting pixelz.com or reaching out directly to your account manager if you're already an existing customer. Thank you again, and I hope you all have a great day.